Just imagine. A huge city made of stone and time was eaten up by the jungle's quiet mouth. This isn't El Dorado, the tale that conquistadors heard in their dreams. It's true. Think about this. The Amazon jungle, which is green and living, is holding its breath. The sun shines on the old roof, but the shades below whisper a secret. A lost city that was completely sucked up by the jungle is a cultural secret that goes back to the time of kings and myths. The Amazon rainforest, which is frequently referred to as the lungs of the planet, encompasses more than 5.5 million square kilometers over 9 nations in South America, and is home to a greater number of species than any other forest in the world. Approximately 10% of the world's known species may be found in this enormous desert region. It is teeming with life, from the well-known jaguars and cheerful makos to flora that are unique to this region and cannot be found anywhere else on the planet. The Amazon is not only significant for the preservation of the ecosystem, but it also has a great deal of cultural heritage. Native American communities who have strong links to the soil call this place their home. In spite of the fact that the jungle is teeming with verdant vegetation, there is a hidden and fascinating world underneath it, where ancient people coexisted peacefully with their natural surroundings. Stories of villages that have vanished and been buried deep below the Amazon have been a source of fascination for individuals who like adventuring and exploring for hundreds of years. From the fabled El Dorado to the lost settlements of the Incas, these tales have been the impetus for voyages and have captured the imaginations of centuries, leading individuals to go on quests in order to acquire further knowledge and discover additional information. In light of all the many kinds of study that are now being conducted, the recent discovery of a massive ancient city in the Amazon is quite remarkable. In addition to shedding information on the complex communities that used to flourish in the lush forest, it reveals to us a portion of human history that has been lost. As we prepare to go on a journey to learn more about this ancient city, it prompts us to contemplate the profound marvels that are continuing to be concealed deep under the Amazon rainforest. The discovery leads to a shift in our understanding of the history of the Amazonian people who formerly inhabited that region. The Yupana region, which is located in the eastern part of Ecuador, was home to an incredible network of roads and waterways that connected the many plazas and dwellings in the region. Under the shadow of a volcano that made the region wealthy, but may have also devastated civilization, this location is located under the shadow of the volcano. Some people had the misconception that the only people who lived in the Amazon were nomadic or lived in tiny settlements. The existence of settlements in the highlands of South America, such as Machu Picchu in Peru, was something that we were also aware of. With regard to the Amazon, this website is the oldest of all the ones that we are aware of. This demonstrates that we need to change our ideas about what culture and civilization are, says Professor Stephen Rostaing, who is in charge of studies at the National Center for Scientific Research in France. Rostaing is the head of the research. It changes the way we think about society in the Amazon. This demonstrates that ancient people lived in complex urban societies, says Antoine Dorison, who is also a co-author on the study. The majority of people have the mental image of very tiny groups of people, who are typically nude, living in homes and clearing land. The city was constructed around 2,500 years ago, and archaeologists believe that people continued to live there for up to 1,000 years after that. Scientists estimate that the population was anywhere between 10,000 and 100,000 at any one period. Nevertheless, it is difficult to determine for certain how many people lived there at any particular moment. Researchers dug in the ground and also used laser cameras to examine an area that was 300 square kilometers in size from the air. These cameras were able to locate the remnants of the city that were concealed by vegetation and trees. They discovered 6,000 square platforms that were around 20 meters in length, 10 meters in width, and between 2 and 3 meters in height. The individuals were arranged in groups of 3 to 6 and arranged around a square that included a platform in the center. Not only do scientists believe that many of them were residences, but they also believe that some of them were used for rituals. One of the buildings at Quilimop included a platform that was 140 meters by 40 meters. A foundation of dirt was placed on top of the rocks that were cut into so that they could be constructed. Several of the platforms were connected to one another by roads that were straight and by paths, one of which was a 25-kilometer-long path. These roads, according to Dr. Dorison, were the most intriguing aspect of the research that was conducted. The system of roads is very complex. There is a long way to go, and everything is connected to one another. He adds that it is far more difficult to construct a road that is straight than it is to construct one that is in harmony with the surrounding landscape. And there are right angles, which is really cool, he says. He is of the opinion that some of them did have a very powerful meaning, which may have been associated with a particular event or religion. Additionally, the researchers discovered causeways that had ditches on each side of them. They believe that these rivers are an important factor in the management of the region's substantial water supply. As a result of some ditches that barred the entrances to the villages, the towns were in danger at this time. It's possible that there is evidence that individuals in the area were making threats. In the 1970s, researchers discovered indicators of a city for the first time. Nevertheless, this is the first time that a comprehensive analysis has been conducted after 25 years of labor. In comparison to the well-known Mayan cultures that are located in Mexico and Central America, it reveals a society that is even more extensive and intricate than those societies. José Iriart, a professor of history at the University of Exeter, who was not involved in this research, says, "Imagine that you found another civilization like the Maya, but with completely different architecture, land use, and ceramics." Iriart was not engaged in this study. By demonstrating how the hexagonal and rectangular platforms are arranged next to one another, he draws attention to the fact that some of the findings are unique, according to South American standards. In order to demonstrate that the civilizations were well organized and interconnected, he cites the lengthy highways that connect the towns as evidence. A great deal of information about the people who lived there and the functioning of their communities is unknown to us. On the platforms, there were pits and hearths, jars, stones for briny plants, and seeds that had been burned. It is likely that the majority of the time spent there was spent cultivating by the Quillamote and Yupano people who lived there. In addition to maize and sweet potatoes, it is possible that a sweet beer known as chicha was consumed. It was suggested to Professor Rothstein at the beginning of his work that he should not do this investigation since specialists believe that there were no ancient people who had lived in the Amazon. But I refused to give up, so I did it anyway. I must say I'm pretty happy to have found something so important, according to him. The next step that the specialists need to do is to determine what is located in a region that is adjacent to the lake and is 300 square kilometers in size, but has not yet been investigated. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on our future expeditions. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and never stop seeking the truth.